G'day, I'm Dr. Richard Norris here from Leading Men Only. I wanted to continue on this message about the perfect man or perfection, and I want to start off with a question. Have you ever met a happy perfectionist? I know I haven't. I know I used to be a perfectionist and I was miserable, and probably other people that knew me, especially my wife, would attest to the fact that, yeah, I wasn't very happy and I certainly wasn't necessarily a joy to live with and live around. But one thing I've realized is perfectionists are driven by fear. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Predominantly driven by fear. And a lot of that's because perfectionists live in the future. It's always about what's next, as opposed to what's now. And, my journey for perfection started when I was a kid. As some of you might know, I wanted to be a veterinarian, and they said you had to have the best marks. So if it wasn't 100, I wasn't happy. And alongside that, I don't know where it came from. I honestly don't. I decided early on I was going to be good. I was going to be perfect. I was going to not swear. I was not going to drink. I was not going to have sex until I was married. I was not going to quote unquote sin. And the reality is I stumbled. I fell. And as a result, whenever I did, I felt massive waves of guilt. I was miserable, and I made myself not only miserable, but I made those others around me miserable. And it says in Scripture that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Now, whether you attest to the Bible or not is not really the point. It's just to underline human nature. And life in and of itself, and this is a great quote that I picked up from Annette Funicello. She said, life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. And for me, my own journey to get out of this whole perfection tendency took years. Once I finally realized that my tendency to be a perfectionist was actually what was hindering, what was damaging me. But I still note, even today, there's still some remnants of that perfectionist tendency, because I see myself wanting that to come out in my kids. My daughter's just starting. She does her homework, and I get unhappy if she doesn't get it right, but I have to accept and release her, and it's a conscious battle for me sometimes. Just let her go and realize that she's got to learn by her mistakes and everything else. But for me, I realize that perfectionists often focus on what's wrong. A lot of my life I just focus on what's not right in my life, and that's a very negative focus. And let's face it, how many people like hanging around negative people with negative focus? You don't. So perfectionists often are quite lonely, because the important thing is to change the focus onto what's right. And I guess the truth is, as I discovered it, is perfection is a process. It's not really an end point. In marriage, you put two imperfect people, and for some reason, some people think they're striving for this perfect marriage. It's an illusion. You can't have that. Much like the perfect man, the same thing. We all start flawed. Much like a lump of coal. And over time, because it takes time, coal forms into a diamond under pressure over a long period of time. We can all turn into diamonds even if we start out as lumps of coal. But the thing is, it's going to take a lot of pressure, which means life's got to happen. And that's part of the process. And then also, friction is what polishes us and turns us into that shiny diamond. So, life is going to rub up against you. People are going to rub up against you. But it's all part of the process of polishing you off and perfecting you. Not making you perfect, just the process of perfection. And so, really, I guess the power play today is to focus on what's going well, and to establish and identify that it's less about being perfect. It's more about understanding, accepting, and reveling in your uniqueness, your skills, your talents, your gifts, your abilities. And focus on who you are rather than who you aren't. So live now, and more importantly, live in the now. Enjoy the moment. Be grateful. And if necessary, as I do, is I journal those things just to keep me on task, on tap, and in the now. So on that, have a great day. Take care. God bless, and be awesome.